Okay, so what we're going to do next is the roof tiles, and this is 30 thou plastic card. So what I've done is cut the strips out, which are I think it's what size are them again? 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch wide. So I've taped them up so we can do quite a few in one go. It's going to be a little bit noisy because we're going to use a jigsaw to cut them. It's a what? A bandsaw? Yeah. Sorry, bandsaw. So there we are. So hopefully that's enough to do my roof on the little office. Okay, next step. I've got some strips of spare plastic card, what I've just trimmed off what I didn't need, and what I'll do with those is I'm going to just put these at the bottom of the roof, and that'll be to lift the first row of tiles up. So let's get that glued on. Now where's my super glue? Let's use this one. Right, we'll let that go off and then we can just trim it. That's it. So next job is to undo these. Just do them with a knife. So what I do with these before I actually stick them on is I just roughen the edge at the bottom, and I do that just with the Stanley knife and just nick it as I go along. Okay, I've chipped some of the tiles, so I'm just going to draw a line so I know exactly where to place the first one. Some super glue on there, some super glue on there. And that's our first roof tile on. Right, so the next one, I'll just line up next to it. I'll line in, also mark off and just trim that one.
I hate this bloody marker.
A bit more glue. And let's just get that one lined up. See if I'm happy with it. A little bit close. Okay. So when that one's dried, what I tend to do then is what you've got to do is find the middle of the next one. So you're not starting in the same place, go the opposite way, and all you need to do then is just mark off where you need to trim it. Again, just draw a line and then you know exactly where you're placing it. So let's get that one on, and then that's another, it won't take long to do this. Let's see. You can trim that, you can actually trim it later, or you can trim it before. It's up to you. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And that's the next towel, next row of towels on. And then all you're doing really is just going along, and then you'll start from that end and work that way, and vice versa, all the way up to the top. And I'll show you when it's finished. Okay, as you can see, we've now tiled the roof, sanded it down. It's with plastic card. Before we paint it, you sand it down, and that'll give the paint something to key to. So our first layer of colour for our slates is a violet colour. Just mixing a bit of red and blue together. And we're just going to spread that all over. Make sure you get as much as you can inside the slates. Okay, so our violet's dried now, so I can now put on the first coat of Payne's Grey. And the Payne's Grey I'm using today is Graduate Acrylic, and the reason I'm using that one, because I actually do like Reeves Payne's Grey, is I'm finding it increasingly difficult, unless I shop online, to get Reeves paints from the art shop. So today we'll see how Graduate Acrylic works. So it's not too bad a condition, not runny, but not thick. So let's just put it on. And what we're going to do with this one is, when we've got so much on, we're going to get our tissue and dab it, just so that the violet shows through. Making sure you do the ends.
Download for free. Dragon City. Anything can happen when you're out and about this autumn, but with the AA, you don't need to worry. For just £5 a month. Our cutting-edge technology means our mechanics can fix 8 out of 10 cars on the roadside in around 30 minutes. And with us, you'll get unlimited call-outs, so we always keep you rolling. So why wait? Breakdown membership from £5 a month. Search AA Autumn or call 0800 107 1717. The AA, because anything can happen.
I've actually got the fire on today in the workshop, which is a lovely multi-fuel stove, and keeps it nice and cosy for us. And also, as you can hear in the background, the television as well. Steve likes to have a film playing or something to aid his concentration. Okay, so we're going to leave that to dry now. Okay, so the first coat of the Payne's Grey is now dried, so here comes the final coat. And it's Payne's Grey again, but quite well watered down, and it's just like a wash, so we're just going to put the wash over. See any little white gaps, just fill them in.
What is behind number 10? Alexander Zverev. And number 6, Milos Raonic. Would you have said that? No. Oh, okay then. Good job you stopped when you did. Well, Sam, you've added £10,000 to your prize fund, giving your team a total of £15,000. And you return later on to play football. Congratulations, Sam. We have one more top 10 for our team before Captain James faces his list and attempts to win back Gareth ahead of the final. Their prize fund currently stands at £15,000, but can they add to that pot? Kieran,
You're the only teammate left to play, so let's hope you're the right person for this one. Come and play tenable.
Okay, so we'll leave that to dry, and if we find that it's still a little bit too violet, we'll just add another wash of Payne's Grey. Okay, the roof's dry now, but I did have a little bit of a problem with it. So the Crayola acrylic paint, in my opinion, is not as good as the Reeves, because when it dried and I decided to put an extra wash on, it actually started to pull the previous coat away. So what I had to do was spray it with matte clear varnish, and then I could put the next coat on. So as you can see, that's fine now. So the next job to do is to actually put on the ridge tiles. Now I've got a piece here because I'm going to have to make 2 pieces for it. So all it is 5mm Foamex board, just cut into strips and then glued together, and they'll sit on there like that. So I'll get on with that now. Okay, ridge tiles. I've already done one and put it on there. So to show you, you do one slightly narrower than the other one. Okay, I've already put the lines in for the ridge tiles themselves, and then how we're going to put it together is we're going to super glue that one, the shorter one, or the longer, whichever way you want to go, on top of the other one. So I'm just going to glue that now, and then once it's glued, it'll be sanded down and painted terracotta.
Right, we've just made 2 very, very simple windows. Not stuck them in yet. They're just a very simple 3mm cut out sash, as though there's a sash at the top, little sill at the bottom. Nothing fancy, very simple. Look okay when they're in. I'm just going to make a couple of doors. These are going to be very simple. Just literally drawn in, scribed on, and then we'll pop them in, and then you can see what these look like.
Are they going to be a panelled door?
Yeah,
or...
just what do you think? Panel or like lines? Panels?
Well, I quite like the panels.
Then I'll just draw some panels. Simple to do again. Make your framework first. To go around. Obviously all doors are sat in a frame. Draw yourself a line. Same on the opposite side. Draw yourself a line. Then you want a top one. Same again. Same with that one. Then what we're doing then is we're measuring the distance in between. See what we've got. We have got 1 5/8 inches. So we're going to divide that. 1 5/8 inches. So if we do a 1/4 inch in the middle, that would be a 1/4, that'd be 2/8, and that'd leave 3/8, so it's 3/16. So we're doing 1/2 inch plus 3/16, and then 1/2 inch plus 3/16.
What's that in metric?
Well, I don't know, I don't do metric. About 16 millimeters. 10, 16. Unfortunately, I don't work in metric. It's not something I've ever done. As Keith will tell you, when we're machining together, he has to convert everything I'm doing into metric, and vice versa. I've got to go the other way. So it's just 2 lines down. And that'll give you your centre. You then need the same distance at the top, which is about 1/4 inch, and 1/4 inch on that panel. Remember, the outside bit is the frame. That's that one. You've then got the bottom of the panel. We'll give ourselves 3/8 just to give us a little bit more space, because we'll need to put a sill on the bottom. I think it's a drip sill, I'm not quite sure off the door. And then we're going to look at the top panel's always generally a little bit higher in any door. So we've got roughly 3 3/8. So if we do 1 1/2 and then 1/4, that should look quite neat. 1 1/2 and 1/4. And same with that one. And then we've just got the inside panels of the door, which we're going to do at 3/16 again. Which will form the panels to create a door panel. And same there. Now, I think we ought to make that just a little bit wider. Pat likes to put the actual names on these, because when you see a lot of these, they do have the names on. So I think we'll just pop another 1/8 onto that middle part. Same again there. So now you can see everything that needs. We'll cut these 2 off because we don't need them. Join together again. Cut that one off. Right, that bit's scrap. Then we start drawing out the actual door. So first one to draw is the frame for the door. So that goes from the bottom, from the top all the way to the bottom. The next one is the same, all the way from the bottom to the top, and then across, connecting the 2 lines up. So you've got that shape going round, and that is your woodwork for your door to sit into.
Oh, that's your door frame.
That's your door frame. We're now going to do the panels, which, if you look at it, we want to be down from there, the same on the opposite side, down from there to there. And then this one, exactly the same, to there, from there to there, and that one from there to there. And then all we've got to do then is connect up the middle lines. Now I do find it easy once you've done all this, because you've got lines what you've just drawn, keep them faint. You don't need to be pressing heavy with your pencil lines. You then need to go around, or I tend to, it's easier for me to actually rub all the excess out. Don't need them, everything's on there. Just brush that off. And then the next stage is I use a screwdriver. Wherever it is. Not that one.
These are like my little tools.
here somewhere. There we are. That's it. Just ordinary screwdriver, flat point. Not a posse. And then I go back on these and you draw it in a panel, so I drop it back just a little bit from the side and then just brush it down. Find out what looks the best, the distance, same with that one, and then do the other edge. Obviously not that edge, this one, so it was about there, that looked quite good. Same again. And turn it round, at the same distance, always on the inside of the line. And cross the ends. Turn it round once more and do the bottom panel. Then very carefully just make sure everything's nice and neat. Now remember, on a door, square the edge up just to make them a little bit tatty. The frame is on the outside, so don't cover the frame up. Cut that piece off. That's it. Give yourself a line. I generally give a little bit of clearance underneath, because again, they wouldn't be touching the floor. A little bit of glue on the back. Turn it round. Get yourself in position. And stick it on. And that now needs a little bit of adjusting to make it fit in. So what I tend to do then is I look, see if there's any that is a little bit wider, just making sure that one's going to go in. So never just accept that you're going to just pop it in, they're all going to be identical, because even the best of cutters aren't. So there we've got like a 16th to come off. Take it off the top edge. Use a straight blade for any cuts like this, which are really fine. Cut it off. Excuse me. I'll edit that bit out here. My sneezing. There we are. Right, just this is a gutter. All I've done is cut the length of the shed out, so I've got just one gutter in one piece. One piece I've marked with a line, cut in, grooved in all the way down, so it gives it a little bit of shape at the front. The next piece is just exactly the same thickness, plain, and the other piece is a 1/4 inch thick, and it's at the back. So what I'm going to do is going to start by turning that one over.
Is that in 3mm?
This is in 3mm in black. We have some black, so we use black because it saves us painting it. So I turn it over so that the edge is facing towards me. I then glue a small part of this so I can get it onto the front of it, so it's on there. Line it up and stick it on. Once you get it set up in square, I generally give it a little square with the fixative accelerator because it just makes it easier and quicker for me to show rather than it waiting for it to dry. Now then do the rest of that piece. Right along, bring it back in line again, making sure it's level. I mean, you can turn it over and press it down, whichever way you fancy doing it. I get it where I know it's in line. Quick squirt, and that is the front of my gutter done already. I turn it round so I can see the back, and now I'm going to stick the back portion of it on. I do half so it just makes it easier to handle. If you try and do it all, you'll struggle because it does grab instantly, and the next minute you know, you like that, you can't move it, it's already stuck. Now just give yourself not so much to do. Make sure it's not leaning over. Like that piece, that's it, just get it back in. Obviously you can make this as big or as small or as wide as you wish, whatever you think it needs. But it does make a simple gutter. And there it is, as simple as that.
Just the ends to put in.
And all I do then is I tend to rub that front edge over. We're at the bottom of that edge with that piece, so it makes it round. I mean, this is just to take it away from being just a square L shape really. Once I've done that, I tend to look at it, make sure everything looks pretty reasonable. If it isn't, I will just trim it up just to get it nice and flat underneath. Not that people can see underneath, but it does make it nice. I like everything square. And all I'm doing here is just running my knife flat with the base and just trimming off any excess, which is just there. Bit of sandpaper. Again, to keep it nice and round at the front. Same with that piece. And there we are, one gutter.
I can't see it from there. That's it.
Simple.
We usually put the end stops in when we attach it.
Well, I've got to measure how long I need it. I did do these slightly over length. Literally end stop is I put one in first, just drop it in a cut the same width, cut a piece, bit of glue in, pop it in. That's it, get it in there, that's it. Drop it down so it's nice and level. Cut it off. Give that a, I mean, you can wait it for it to dry, it's not a problem. And then I just carefully trim through both. So you've got it nice and filled in at the end. And that's one end done. I don't mess about putting it onto blocks. The blocks I put in, which I'll show you in a minute, go underneath. Really just dummy. Unfortunately they have to be in white because we don't have any thick enough black. But what I'll do is I'll stick that direct to the engine shed, so it's stuck on in its full entirety, and then just put some little shapes underneath just to make sure it all makes it look nice. Talk to you shortly. Right, now we're going to put the guttering on. I always put the gutter on with the roof in position.
Would you like me to hold?
So I can do that. Rather than trying to guess where the gutter goes, just do it. Just put the roof on, go up to it. Again, I'll give it a little bit of it. Just help me stick. And then just literally drop it in position and press it on all the way down. And that is as simple as that to put the gutter on. There's nothing fancy, nothing overstated, it's simplicity. And the thing is, you fasten the full lot to the full back rather than just bits. And the next stage is I cut some little blocks.
Let's have a look.
Trying two pieces together so it made a nice little shape. Right. All this is two pieces glued together, then cut apart, cut into strips, so you've got a 6mm square. Obviously that round the edges off, rub it down, few little blocks at the back of it, push it on like that, square it up where you want to be, and there's your drain pipes as well. Now I'm not going to fit this because obviously we need to go back outside, measure the depth this is set into where it is on the baseboard, cut this end off at an angle, then put the return spout on it. But I can do that at a later date, and it'd be easy to do when it's not fastened on. But there you have it, a complete gutter system. Simple, effective, didn't take long to make, and cost virtually nothing.
What's lined up is the pieces to make the steam vents on the roof. So when the loco goes into the engine shed, the steam will rise and come out through these vents. I suppose they're a bit like chimneys. And that's just made out of, is it 3mm as well? 3mm Foamex board. It's only in black because we actually have plenty of black spare. But then when it's completed, you can see there that that's what it'll look like, and then all it needs to be done is painted in the same style as we painted the tin roof. And when Steve's glued this together, we'll lift the roof up so you can see the two we've already done. Also, after the chimneys are done, we will be putting the chimney inside the shed roof. Which will look something like that. So we're hoping actually when we put a steam engine into this shed on full steam or whatever, it should actually work. But that's to be tested yet.
That's the first part.
So that's not a very difficult job to do. So what we'll do is lift the roof up and then you can see what they look like when they're being painted. There's already two completed. So that's what they'll look like when they're done. This actually is doll's house leading that I've used as well to finish them off. Put a little bit of rust on. And also the top of the chimney inside the shed.
Cowling and that
It's
bit.
a cowling.
Yep. And then inside.
Inside as well. That's what it looks like inside.
Engine funnel is there.
So we'll show you the shape and how, you know, that one being glued together.
Ready?
Yes. Steve's just now he's already previously cut out his two cowlings, so now he's just putting them together. And they'll be painted with a tin effect as well, as you saw from the previous clip. Is that just to fill the fronting?
Is the end. Just a tiny little bit off. That one. Good.
Oh, so you've just sort of done a small lining. Have you just scrabbed them in?
Yeah, just grab that in like that, so it's nice and deep. Just so it can go a bit
Oh,
bend.
just so it gives a bend.
Yeah, and then glue that on the top.
So when we come to paint these vents and what are the cowlings?
Yeah.
Because we've used black PVC Foamex, what I usually do is spray them grey or paint them grey first, and then because the black really hards the paints grey that you put on top. So if you use black, then make sure you put a grey on, or even a white. Come to that, it doesn't have to be grey, but anything but black before you start painting it, and then you can start doing these like tin colour like we've done. And if you just watch how the roof was painted, it's the same effect. So what is that you're doing now?
I'm just setting it up.
Oh, ready for positioning it.
Yeah. So it goes on. That's the front, like that. So it goes on like that and through the hole.
Right, so painting is the next step really. So we'll leave Steve to just mark his position of where the vent's going to be glued. Now you'll have to cut a hole in, won't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll just hang on for you to cut the hole.
Not so much underneath, so. And that just goes in there. Obviously it needs to be, don't cut it big while you get it set up.
No. Okay. So our next job is to move on to the painting, and I'm not sure if I'm going to show that. I'll make that decision later, because as I say, it's just painted the same way as the tin roof is painted. We've now got the 4 vents on. They look very nice. And what we're going to do next is the actual skylight. So we're just going to measure it up and cut out the piece of glass. So we'll move on to that now. Okay, we've just done one side of the glass, and now we're just about to do the next side. So that's it before we cut the windows out. So that's the next job. The job after that is to put the glazing in. And again, we're only using black because we just have some spare.
These lines have been scrubbed in before.
Yeah, and for those, I was going to say, for those who have been following this project, then you'll probably know on our previous projects how the windows are done now. and they're all done in the same style. Just draw them in, then scrap them and then cut them out. Using the curved blade for these type of jobs. And don't confuse the curved blade with the hooked blade. The hooked blade is a lot tighter curve at the top. The glass we're just going to leave plain. We could have etched it by spraying it with the varnish, but we decided to keep it clear because we will actually look down on it. It'll be nice to see the engine sat inside, and also it will encourage us to put some fittings inside, such as benches and cupboards and workstations.
Stopping short of each corner as well.
So Steve's using the straight blade just to nick out the corners, just to release the panels. You all done now?
Yes, we're not having handles, apparently. I said, oh, I've been on to Steve's. Where you been? I've been on Steve's for a drill so I can just put a little hole in to screw the handles on the... What handles? The handles, the one in the shop. I says, oh, no. Showed him, oh, no, I don't have handles. Thank you very much.
No problem about that.
Did you see the model railway thing in the
Yeah.
top of bowling hole today?
Yeah, it says we need us to be
Almond Street's already.
Yes, it's
Yeah, I think there was a sports centre down there, let alone... Oh, right. It's a replica of part of Hull, isn't it? They've done, yeah, they've done a replica of part of Hull. Really, if they've been a year getting it ready.
Well, we'll have a look online.
Yeah.
See what they look like.
Yeah.
All right, Arthur, thanks. So we're moving on to the glass panes now. What's these? These are smaller pieces we're trying to use up.
A bit thick.
And it is a little bit thick to what we normally use, so I thought it'd be quite ideal for this project.
I wonder if I measure it right.
Yes, make sure you measure it right. actually done in 2 pieces.
Yeah, mark it to the middle spar and then cut it off. See my lines, there they are. Certainly harder than we normally use.
It's more brittle.
Yeah. Piece.
What's that tip where if you accidentally spray clear glass with...
Spray it with gloss.
Yes, if you spray it with your varnish accidentally, not intentional, if you want it back to plain glass again, just spray it with a gloss varnish and it returns it back to a clear glass. So that's a handy little hint. I mean, we found that out from watching somebody else's YouTube site, and it's come in handy once or twice. So we do know it does work.
No activators, I don't like this because you just spread it. And there we are.
So that's one side of the glass in, just the other side to put in, and then that'll be the skylight complete. But before we stick it onto the roof, we need to actually protect the roof with the satin matte varnish that we use. So we'll leave Steve to do that second side. We're just going to put the last window in now. It's been glazed. We've got all the chimney vents done. I think the roof's just about finished now. So we'll give you a quick view of that. And we'll just go down again.
Okay, that filled in at the bottom on that one.
Oh, nice touch.
Done. That's it. In fully. How's that? That's cement.
That's it. So we've just decided to keep a bit of the plastic on the
It's just on the bottom.
just on the bottom row of the window panes, just to give it a bit of an etched look. But if you want an etched look, you can just spray it with varnish and that'll etch it. Okay, so as far as this engine stroke loco shed is, we have now completed it as far as we want to complete it to actually put it on the railway now. So I've got the venting to be a fan, got the floors painted, and what we'll do is tomorrow we'll take a video of the trains actually reversing back into it, whichever. Thank you for watching.